Hi, I'm Flynn Camino.
And I'm Fletcher Camino.
And welcome to Bums Away.
The movie we'll be reviewing today is called Attack of the Killer Tomatoes.
Or, in tomato language,
Yes. And anyway, it was directed by John DeBolo and stars every actor that we can't pronounce. I just don't know anyone who's in it. No one who's in it has done anything else as far as I'm aware. But it's actually quite a good movie. That's why it's in our new underrated series that we're kicking off with this video. We just watched it recently. We just found it. You just found it. And you said we should watch Attack of the Killer Tomatoes, and I thought that sounds promising. So we found ourselves watching Attack of the Killer Tomatoes on a terrible streaming service. They kept stalling, so then we watched it on YouTube. Finished watching it on YouTube, and
at any cost.
Yeah. It's a great. I think it's a great spoof. It is definitely a parody of B movies, but you can watch it. The thing I like about it is that you can watch it as an actual B movie, which is amazing. It's like Galaxy Quest in that way, and it only murders in the building. Both of which are great projects. Shall we, without further ado, dive into some positives?
Attack of the Killer Tomatoes is probably one of the best spoofs I've ever seen. It's funny, it perfectly encapsulates the genre,
Oh, it does, yeah.
and it can double as an actual B movie.
Yeah.
The acting is pretty good. I mean,
It is not, but you haven't heard of them, but they have good. They deliver lines well. They're capable.
It's fantastic. It's a really good film. It spoofs all the subgenres. It even has a little Jaws ripoff interlude.
Jaws,
and there's some real parodies of each different thing in a really funny way. I have to say, as a huge positive, the opening song, written and sung by the director.
Yes.
In an amazing baritone.
It's quite catchy, actually. I've been having it all day.
With interesting lyrics. Really, I'd have to say, as a song, I want to have it immediately accessible when I want a little laugh.
It is good. It's a very good song.
It is a very, the movie's just a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun to watch, and it's not afraid to go on tangents. Which is something that I think Mel Brooks sort of pioneered, and you can tell that there's sort of Mel Brooks things in there. Well, Mel Brooks is just like he has a plot, but he's not afraid to sort of we'll just spoof this now. We're just going to something crazy over here. We're just throwing some random scenes. And there's this whole tangent in Attack of the Killer Tomatoes about advertising. They meet this advertising guy. He sings a whole song, which is weird, but there's this great advertising sort of tangent they keep going back to. Completely unnecessary as the plot, but it's really funny. So
yeah, and I think Zucker films can be pretty hit and miss. And yet they're way more famous than this, which was pretty consistent.
I think it's you said it very well when we first watched it. It's a precursor to the Zucker films. You can tell that the Zucker style was probably influenced off this.
It's crazy. It's absolutely there's no rhyme or reason, but it's funny. It's so funny. And I think the mistake was with the reviews for this is that I think they thought it was actually a B movie.
I'm not sure.
I'm not sure what happened with the reviews, but
look, the Zucker movies they haven't got the great reviews either. That's only retrospectively. Those sort of weird comedies that sort of just do really crazy stuff and just rely on these weird visuals aren't often very successful. But it's a great movie. It's really, really funny. I enjoyed it. I think there's definitely a lot of positives. It has a certain
charm.
Plot. Yes, charm definitely. But I was going to say plot there actually. So much the same thing. But it has a pretty decent plot. It's sort of, and it has good characters. It has just funny characters that have their own specific things. The main guy is a little bit bland, but pretty much everyone around him has their own specific thing that they do.
But the writing's good enough that he can be bland and it works anyway.
He can be a bland protagonist, but he's got like this really weird sidekick who just carries a parachute around.
Yeah, it's like a parody of those army people who
just carry a parachute around and is chasing after people with a parachute dragging behind him.
And it's like a parody of these military guys who are, ready to camp out, but they're in the middle of the city. The parody of those army cadet people, and also parodies of scientists being ignored. The staff
and dubbing, bad dubbing. This is like probably a homage to. I haven't seen any of them, like the old Godzilla and King Kong movies where you got badly dubbed English voices, very English British over like a Chinese person that's obviously talking out of sync, and it's very funny and very amusing.
But I think it's time for maybe some negatives.
Yes. So there are a few negatives. We're not going to lie. We just said that this movie was underrated. We never said that it was fantastic.
I say it's pretty.
It's fun and it's worthwhile. It's well worth watching. But for me, the main negative of that, it didn't really feel like a movie. The whole thing felt like a really extended sketch. Which is sort of good because it didn't feel like it definitely didn't feel like it dragged on too long. It was only like an hour and a half, but it felt like just like 20 minutes. It's like, it's over already.
But there was always like a new sketch, a new thing they could do because the movie is such an expansive.
But it did feel like an extended sort of sketch with the same budget as a sketch. But it made we just found it less than $100,000. That is really, really tiny. For a movie, that's basically nothing. It's just.
But I think at some points as a parody, like it seemed like they were doubling as a B movie quite often.
Yeah.
They broke the illusion a bit. I love the tomatoes and also make the and rolling along the sidewalk like.
It's actually done surprisingly well. They use you can tell sort of at some point, so they use the sort of the reversing the footage to make the tomatoes go and sort of have them rolling around. Someone's just kicked them from off screen, but you can't. They actually do it pretty serviceably. Like they don't shy away from showing the tomatoes. And when you see models, I know people will probably go off at the bad models, but that's intentional. Believe me, that's intentional. No models, no one shoots models like that. They're supposed to look bad. And look. Yeah, it's a rambling affair, and that's definitely a downfall.
But it's fantastic. I mean,
it's a rambling sort of sketch that's gone on for too long.
It's one of my favorite parodies. I'd say it's in the league of Mel Brooks, and I'd say it's around as good as the best soccer films.
Yeah,
because like most soccer films can be pretty hit and miss. I watched Airplane 2. That wasn't.
I haven't watched that, but you said
yeah, but there've been some big parody movies that shouldn't be as big, and this one's just lost in the depths of insanity, and I think it deserves more popularity. It's funny. I've always wanted to do a parody of the B movies. It's just like such an amazing genre, and they did it so well.
The thing is, most B movies are parodies on themselves. So for a movie to actually look like a parody of a B movie, it has to be much funnier than the B movies themselves, which is harder than you think.
Yeah,
because it's a really funny B movies.
Yeah, like Plan 9 from Outer Space is pretty funny.
That's the most famous one, but there's also other like really bad ones.
Yeah, there's some really bad ones, but those are just this one is actually hilarious. I mean, tomatoes,
Yeah, it's a great idea. It's a great concept. It's done pretty well. There's some really funny stuff. There's laugh out loud stuff.
Yeah, it's
also really weird lines. Like, and it's such a deadpan movie. You sometimes can't tell if it's trying to be funny, which is why I think a lot of people didn't get it.
Yeah, went over a lot of people's heads.
But
critics notoriously bad sense of humor. Okay, ways to watch it. I'd say the entire thing is on YouTube.
Just watch it on YouTube.
Yeah, it's on Plex.
We got this streaming service called Plex. I think we're going to delete it because
it's a horrible streaming service.
Shit, yes,
it's got ads and it's all B movies.
And it stalls.
It stalls non-stop.
It's got a lot of old movies.
It's got a lot of old movies, but most of the old movies are like really cheesy old B movies. So even the new movies are B movies. So it's got like a few good ones on there, like The General and a few other big movies. Sherlock Holmes Jr. as well. It's got some big ones in there, but really it's a pretty useless streaming channel.
I think we're going to delete it. So we started watching it there, but just watch it on YouTube. The whole movie's on YouTube in really good quality. So
yeah.
But we definitely recommend.
It is a hilarious movie and so underrated.
It's so underrated. Yes, and it's very well worth watching. So to wrap things up, please remember to like, subscribe, and hit that bell button. Yes, so that you can get notifications when brand new videos comes in, which happens all the time. Brand new videos are coming up all the time. This is a brand new series we're kicking off. Not just underrated reviews, but it's called an underrated, overrated series. So some movies are going to be exploring movies which we think are underrated and deserve more attention, and overrated movies which we think they aren't as good as people say. So it's going to be very opinion based, but we're going to be putting a lot of these out there. We'll cause a few ripples, I think. But also comments. Yes.
Comments below. Tell us about any movies you think are underrated
And please tell us of more great B-movie stuff.
Yeah, B-movies. Like, what are B-movies that are genuinely hilarious?
Yes. Please let us know down in the comments below. We're up for doing we're up for watching anything, almost. Not Snyderverse. But apart from that, we're pretty much up for watching anything, so please let us know down in the comments below, and we will do our best to watch it and review it. And until next time, I'm Fletcher Camino.
And I'm Flynn Camino.
And remember,
bigger tomatoes means bigger pizzas.
Thank you for watching Bombs Away.
Tomatoes will have their day. Attack of the killer tomatoes. Attack of the killer tomatoes. They'll beat you, bash you, squish you, mash you, chew you up for run.